tomorrow between 12 and 14 degrees. Well, in the 8 o'clock hour, we've got the Cranberries, Maroon 5, Wham, and Starship on the way. And we will start things off this hour with some music.
We're pressing play.
Another feel-good music marathon.
I'm just going to give it a minute here before I start saying that and give people a chance to come in. I trust you can hear me okay anyway, yeah? As you can see, I've had a bit of a haircut since I was on last. What did I say? You said something. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes just to let the numbers come up a bit before I start shiting on, because I didn't actually, obviously I didn't put any announcement out that I was coming on, especially at 8 o'clock, because usually it's 9 o'clock, but I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. I have to get up early, so I'm going to be knocking off early tonight, so I said I'd come out here and have a go at it. Are we having a sing song? Yeah, I didn't know myself. I thought it was quite a nice job actually, Ray, to be honest with you. How's Roundy Mounty? I hope your blue spanner is okay there, you have it polished up. I wasn't expecting to come on tonight myself. Well, it was, but I wasn't sure if I would or not, but I won't be on too late. We'll give this a minute or two for a few numbers to come in. It's grand, right? Yeah.
The festival which is taking place. If you can't forget the past,
I must say that I don't know why, but the camera quality looks better tonight. It's the same camera that I always use, but just looking at my monitor here in front of me, the picture looks a lot sharper for some reason. Do you find that at home as well? Of course, anyone with eyes and ears who watches my channel will be aware that I visited Mr. Dranfield last weekend whilst I was in the UK attending the Goblin. The light levels, it's the same light actually that I always have too, funny enough. There's no difference in light levels here, particularly. We're not running a lot of light here either. We've a 60 watt diffused spotlight in front of me, and just the old T12 tube there. And you might notice something else flashing on and off here, but we'll get into that later on. I must say, visiting Michael Dranfield's workshop was a revelation. I had a great time. Unfortunately, I didn't have as much time to spend with Michael as I would have preferred, due to the traffic getting off the boat for one thing. It took me nearly an hour actually, to get from the boat just up to the roundabout in Holyhead, which is nuts. You usually get out onto the A55 in 10 minutes, but it was nuts. So it was a bit late getting down to Mr. Dranfield's place, and then I had to go on. I had somewhere else to go after that as well, so kind of, maybe I had 2.5 hours, 3 hours with you, Michael, something like that. Yeah, it should be able to run 720p, alright. At least. I think we will upgrade in the future. But, like, for non-technically just talking on that, like, the camera's good enough, If we're going into great detail about something, it mightn't be as good. I'm just trying to catch up with the chat here a little bit. Bear with me. I think what I need to do is I need to, like, zoom in or something. That's too much. 150 zoom. There we go. That's better. I can see now. Do hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already done so. I'll see 13 people watching, only 3 thumbs up. That's just not good enough, as you know. Who else have we got just in the chat here? Mrs. OJnoj is in the chat. Hello, Mrs. OJnoj. Hello. Well, Mrs. I didn't take Mrs. OJnoj to England. I left her here behind me. I don't think she was in the armour. I wouldn't say she wasn't in the armour, but there wasn't much downtime, if you know what I mean. I was flat out going from one place to the other. Who else have we got here? We've got Warmer UK. We have Michael Tranfield, of course. Sapphire, as always. Tommy. Hello, Tommy. That's not very good, Tommy. So, did any of you see my video, my short snippet on the Goblin? Well, what did you think? Tell me this. The television's on display. Yeah, they're excellent. Yeah, that chap does have them on display at the MVCF as well every year. He usually has a few more, actually. It's always a great display. They're restored to a very high standard, to be fair to them. How do you like the view? How do you like the live as a viewer? Where's the thumbs up? I think you have to go out with a chat. If you go out with a chat, just leave the chat for a second and then you can thumbs up the video in the normal manner. Then you can go back into the chat. If you're watching on a phone anyway. So yeah, it was my first time at the Galborn show. But I must say, much smaller than the MVCF, obviously. But it was far more relaxed. I'd definitely go to it again. It was a great show. I'd definitely go again. A lot more time. Look, it was busy, but there was none of the hustle and bustle and pushing and shoving. Sometimes the MVCF can, it can be a bit tight and a bit packed and what have you. So it was busy. Yeah, when I say it was busy, there might have been maybe 30, 40 people there, not including traders. I am not on TikTok now. Would you have done a full day there? Well, I was there from when it opened at 10 o'clock. Probably landed in about 5 to 10. Now finishes up probably a bit earlier than say like the likes of the MVCF. So I think by 2 o'clock it was all done and dusted. But what I would say is that there's a lot more time for social interactions at it, and having a chat. So I got to have good conversations with a lot of people who I know off YouTube as well. People I know off YouTube and people I would have met over the years from the MVCF and that as well over there. And of course, people off the forums as well. So it's always a great day out. It's actually quite funny. A couple of people come up to me who I haven't met before. This actually happened at the MVCF as well, as I was saying before earlier in the year. That they were fascinated. You're the guy off YouTube, aren't you? I says, yeah. I says, just I love what you do. So that's always good, So yeah, no, it was quite interesting. So Roundy Mooney, I must say, while I have you there in the square, I have to send an email to you about some Sony amplification equipment. I just haven't had a chance yet, to be quite honest with you. But I might get around to it tomorrow afternoon. So I will do that. So I'll be in touch. But I haven't forgotten about you. That's just what I want you to know. It's just been hectic. I'm not getting any time to come out here at all lately, which is a bit shit. But we're getting there anyway. Things are going to change in the future. So that's pretty much it. 15 people, 14 people watching. 13 likes. We're nearly at the threshold roundy, When I start to come alive, when there's more people than there's more likes than people, then we know we're on the winner. The day at I suppose everyone here is seeing the video that I did at Mr. Dronfield's place. If you haven't been paying attention. I must say, Michael has an unbelievable collection of spare parts. I've never seen so many little drawers in one place, and I've been in a lot of workshops over the years. Unbelievable. And of course, he knows where everything is. But it was a great day out. I look forward to returning to Mr. Dronfield's place in the future, and hopefully we'll be able to get into a bit more detail the next time I get there. So it should be good, Drawers are from Woolworths. I'm getting on now Woolies now. Sadly. You could learn a thing about organising the workshop. I suppose I could, alright. Good evening, Mr. Robinson. Nice to have you on board. I must say, it's cold here now. It's not as warm as it was the last time I made a video. I did this out here 2 weeks ago. The heat on full time now. I think it's about 8 degrees outside. It's just got up to it. Starting to crawl up to about 20 here. I leave the dehumidifier on all the time. That keeps the chill off the air. But that's turned into an expensive hobby too. But not to worry. You have to keep the place a bit warm. You have the heat not in the workshop. Actually, I've got oil powders in my trouser pocket. Yeah, there's a few of these batten holders off AliExpress. Are they any good, Roundy? I think I seen them actually. Yeah. Now I've got a nice, a very vintage 1960s it's a Philips. It's a blow heater and a bar heater built in one. So it's 3 kilowatts altogether when everything is switched on. But I never use the bar heater section. I only have it on the 1 kilowatt, the low heater setting. But it heats the place up nicely. So kilowatts, so what's that? I think it's 28 cents an hour or something here now at the minute. You know, just pay it rather than be cold anyway, you know. And then with a few other places. So it's probably running me 35 cents an hour to sit here. Although this thing might be confusing it a bit. Nobody's mentioned the flashing light yet. You aren't paying attention, lads. Surely you would have noticed the flashing light. Reddens the plug top. Yeah, we had a plug. I remember years ago we had a 2 kilowatt oil heater in the house, and I had a lovely ceramic MK plug on it, and the fucking thing exploded one night into 1,000 bits. Now, I tell you what, and I suppose me modus operandi at the Goblin was probably a bit flawed. However, because I got me tryout valves for the Listen radio that I've been talking about. I've got lots of them because we can only get them the once. So we got plenty of these valves for her. So we're going to be having a go at that in the near future. I want to see if this thing will work. So if anyone has any information on this Listen shortwave tray or all wave tray, please do get in touch. It's down somewhere around 1933. Anyway, I got the valves for them. But anyway, at the end of the day, when everything was going cheap, because they have to clear all the stuff at the end of the day, I bought a couple of boxes of valves because they were going very cheap. And in the box was this. And I looked at that and I said, oh yes, a squirrel cage light bulb. And it must be, you know, the genuine article. With the pip on the top. Which I think that means she's pre-war. So I'm not expecting it to work, of course. I just like the look of it, so I said I'll have it. Little did I know, looking at it, it's actually quite a special bulb. Because it flashes on and off. Now, it's not... There's no voltage rating on it that I can see. It's obviously wore off. There's just a bit of paper around the end of it. And all that states is... Blinking commences a few minutes after switching on the current, right? Because obviously it has to heat up. So not knowing what voltage it is, I didn't want to take any chances with it. So ran it up slowly on the Verdiac. And we got to about 100 or 110 volts. It lit up quite bright. It's actually just running on 100 volts now. So I think it might be 100 volt bulb or 110 volt. So I don't know if it's intended to be wired in series with another bulb to flash the two of them, or to be a flasher in the circuit. I'm not sure if the paintwork on it is original either. We won't be able to see. It's a bit splodgy looking on the bulb, but I don't know. It could have been London Underground morning signal or something like that. It's not American. It's not American. Well, it certainly doesn't look American to me. I'll be fairly sure she's an English bulb. But yeah, like Roundy says, it's a bimetallic. Probably if you listen really. Yeah, you can hear it. Yeah, but you see, a lot of London Underground railway signals and all would have been 100 volt, 190 volt, 110, Oh, that's quite true, Dennis. But I would suggest that this had an industrial application as a warning lamp or something. Perhaps not. Anyway, it's very interesting that it still works. I haven't rolled around in a box full of valves for God knows how long. You'd be sure that the squirrel cage would be nearly guaranteed that it burst open, but it's not. So, very interesting light. So, and welcome addition to the selection. So that's the light. So I'm very pleased to have that actually. I have a thing about squirrel cage light bulbs for some reason. There's a lovely light off them. I wouldn't think so, Ray, because they wouldn't have a flashing. Because how do you know if you're on air? When it flashed off, you might think it was off. Exactly, it is UK because it's a Bayonet cap fitting. No, it's Bayonet. So yeah, it could be Dennis, alright, but the fact that it was, rolling around in a box and that, they're not the most robust of lamps. Yeah, it's knock its power down to 80 or 90 volt and it'll last longer. Yeah, I can do that. Well, we can see how low it'll go and still flash, because it will get to a stage where it won't heat up to flash and then it'll just stay on. Yeah, still flashing. 80 volts. Yeah, go around. Of other things I bought, I picked up the thing that's behind it, which is a homebrew airband radio. Now, I actually picked that up on the forum and collected it off a shop at the Goblin. So I'll give you a look at that. This came up on the forum for sale, and it's such a nice little thing. I said I'd have that. It is working, although it has one or two little minor issues which need to be attended to. I can turn it on in here, but I don't think we're going to pick up any airplanes in here. But I intend to go up to Dublin Airport and do a little video on this. What's the chances of us picking up something? I did go outside into the garden with it, and we did receive a few bits and pieces. Might have a marine origin. Yeah. Possible, alright. Not a chance of hearing nothing on that in here with all the noise and crap. Now, that could be very well true. I hadn't heard that. BC is a French invention. It's a lovely homebrew bit of kit. Now, what they've done is they've repurposed some doofer or other here. But it works really well. You know, it's an IF strip out of I don't know, some commercial transceiver or something. But it's been very well put together. So we shall go up to Dublin Airport at some stage and see what we can pick up. I have heard a few aircraft on it though already here. Little audio amplifier module built in here. It's a very nicely made little bit of kit. That's one thing I picked up. I also picked up a few radios, of course. No televisions. No televisions followed me home from the Goblin. But I got two Eddie Stones. Yeah, both in rough enough condition. I got this 740 here, which works to a point. Although it's got gearbox trouble. So there's a bit of wear in the gearbox. And as you spin her up, it's catching and going backwards every so often. And there's also the anti-backlash isn't working in it, so there's loads of backlash in it, so it's hard to tune in, you know, single sideband and that kind of stuff on it, which isn't ideal. And then I got a 740, which is in scrap condition, really. Although it has all its valves in it, someone has taken the finger plate off the front, and all the knobs are gone, so that's not good. Any valve testers over there? I didn't see any valve testers for sale, no. George Christophe. Now, of course, for those of you who don't know, George Christophe is a very famous YouTuber, and if you haven't done so, please do go over to George's channel and give him a subscription. George, I didn't do anything with any of the junk I got, except for the Eddie Stone 750, which is sitting on the bench at the minute. It has a bit of gearbox trouble, so there's loads of backlash in it and stuff like that. It is working to a point, but someone's been at the alignment, so it's a bit deaf and other issues like that, but of course they're worth doing. The AR88 and the CR100 are in my container, and they will be looked at way down the road. George, of course, was good enough to... I never seen a man picking up an AR88 and tossing it around like it was a transistor radio. Unbelievable. You should enter one of them strongman competitions, George. And driver film a shortwave. I also met at the Galborn. So a very good evening to you, sir. Good to see you here. So, yeah, I haven't really had time to do anything with all the junk I got at the Goblin just yet. But, except for my nice snazzy flashing light bulb, which was in the box of valves. I've had the beard lowered, yes, I have. I have indeed. And it was time to do something with it. It may return in the future, though. I just felt like a change. Yeah, I see it doing that again, and that was something that was happening a couple of weeks ago. Where the picture is jumping. I'm taking it that's happening for everyone. It's happening for me too. I don't know why. There's not going to be much I can do about that, so we'll have to live with it. Unless it gets really, really bad, and then we might try and go over to live stream with the phone. But we know that never really works out all that well. Don't know why it's doing that. That is strange. So how are you getting on anyway, Mr. Christophe? I know you had an awful lot of stuff there for sale at the show too. Yeah, I see it jumping again there. Don't know why it's doing that. And Leslie Diamond is here as well. Hello. So I don't know why it's jumping. So we'll have to look into that down the road. It's all good stuff. Well, it depends on where you look at it, Michael. It depends. Someone I was hoping would pop into the chat tonight, and he might pop in a while, is Kev B. Now, of course, everyone knows Kev B from the live streams, but Kev very graciously offered a while ago here on the live to have a look at my voltage standard and to calibrate it, or not to calibrate it, but to give me a calibrated reading on it. And he said if I brought it to the Goblin, that he would take it away to his lab and do that. And he did. And not only that, he rebuilt it into a new box, and it looks fabulous. So I want to thank him very much. He might be along later on. He also presented me with a few boxes with bits and pieces in them, he said. And I didn't open them till I got home. And I must say, he gave me some very handy stuff. He presented me with these 3 boxes. And if Cody's remembers the light bulb, yeah, it's working. Flashing away. It's a flashing light bulb. What was the chances of that it would still work? So, there's a lot of good stuff here. There's triplers, resistors, capacitors. There's even a couple of line output transformers. So, a big thank you to Kev B. Hopefully Kev pops in later on. A few rolls of wire around resistors, all stuff that I will use and will be looking for. So I'm very thankful to Kev for doing all that. Gentleman, and it was great to meet him at the show and his good lady. I must say, it always comes back to the vintage electronics community. They're a great bunch of people, really. So there's lots of very good stuff here. This is something, now I was looking at this, and I think I know what it is. Well, I know what it is, but I don't know what it's for. But the right man is in the chat. So Mr. Dranfield, in the boxes of stuff that Kev B gave me, there's a couple of these. Now, these look like adapter plates for line output transformers. Right? Looking at the shape and the size of the pins. I wonder what they're off. Looks like for the ZX2000. Rayborn, that's what they are. Now, see. A mine of information is what YouTube is. Joe King is here. He is working on where are you, Joe? I'm just scrolling back through it. Good evening, JJ. Working on a GC BT 1247 backlight TV at the moment while watching it. Good man, Joe. Question for you, Joe. A quick one. Do you have a pattern generator or not? No. Do you have a standards converter at the minute, Joe? Because I have a pattern generator here for you, but it's 6259. Lads, ye are a veritable font of knowledge. good man, George Donaldson is in the chat too. Yep. Alright, Joe, I have something for you. There was a blast from the past on your vid with Mick. You must know Mick, do you? Yeah. I must give him a bell, actually. I haven't been talking to him in a while. That was back in, I went to see our mutual friend, Mr. Donaldson, the same day. So, when would that have been? Back in March. February or March. No bother, Joe. I'll get on to you tomorrow. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing another little video with Mick at some stage in the future as well. He's an interesting chap to talk to. See another little flash on the screen there. I don't know. It's almost like some sort of... Oh, sorry, hold on. Of course, Michael Dranfield. Yes. No, the Doric TV. Not seeing one of them in years. Yes, I gave Mr. Dranfield a few sets to keep him busy. I'm hoping he'll scrap some of that flat screen rubbish and put these in their place. Yes, the Doric works to a fashion. It has a brain collapse, but it should be a goer. It's in lovely condition, actually. Managed to get the 3 boxes of radio from Goulburn into the house. Only took a few days to sneak them in. Oh yeah, well that's... maybe it's the ISP because I'm not working on Wi-Fi here. We're directly connected. It needs teletext, like a hole in the head it does. Teletext is too modern for here, isn't it? Hey, yeah, well you can get 888 alright. I don't think that... Is there captions on a live stream? No. Yeah, ADL teletext is good, alright. There is still teletext in Ireland. Isn't that right, Roundy? If you have a Servio box in Ireland, I'm told, or if you have a Skybox with the RF out and you send it into a set, there is still teletext there. Airtel is still a thing, apparently. A bit later than 1970. I think Prestel was the first thing to come out. I think it was 76 or 7. I have a couple of them boxes here. I'm sure I have the article of television announcing the start of text. Who was telling me Roundy Mooney likes the old Eddystone dials? Yeah, they're nice, are they? Eddystone made nice stuff. It's just a shame the gear that they put into it. They are let down with cheap components. I wonder if this one on or not. We can have a listen to it, but it's not great. I'm looking forward to having a go at the AR88. That's going to be an interesting set if I can ever manage to lift it up on the bench here. Yeah, everything's a pain on the arse on them all, right? It's those caps in the coil box that do it for me. Oh, why? Why, George? Not working. When did the speaker work again? Give me all. Yeah.
I'm one of those people that look at what's inside, but usually it's not to look at, monosodium glutamate or something. I look at like whatever. Yeah, just like the basic stuff for basic health. I'm not too concerned if I live an extra year.
I reckon if you have those joined, do hit the thumbs up button. 30 views, 30 viewers and 21 likes. Only for tonight, Al. Haha, B4L Funny Times is in the chat. Good man. Good to see you. So here it is, one of the Eddie Stone radios. This is an Eddie Stone 750. So there's a few things with her. The RF alignment is out a good bit. The IF alignment was out a good bit as well. Someone's been in there twiddling at some stage. The gearbox is worn now. So I don't know. There's problems. She does receive. No, I didn't really need another Eddie Stone either. I've got two 750s already, which have their own problems. You see the problem with me backlash? It's head wrecking when the gearbox isn't right on these. I did give the IFs a little twiddle and I brought it up a good bit. But it's gonna need the full works. Anyway, that's going to be one for down the road. That's a bit of volume, alright, yeah. That end of it's okay. So it's something going for. So that's the Eddystone. I must actually throw up the 740 and see will it do anything or not. I think it's in the container at the minute. Maybe trees or on overhead power lines causing shorts. Now, funny enough, like there's no lights or anything else flashing or doing anything. It seems to be just the camera. Oh, sorry, that comment was directed to White Sapphire. Throw it hard and put away wet. So that's the Eddystone. Yeah, it's been interesting. Yeah, there's a point to this. Does anyone ever watch the following YouTuber? This is a fella that's come up in conversation recently. Wondering if anyone has seen him before. Yeah, they could, alright. Sexton Mallard, hello. Good to see some. It was good to see you too. Very interesting day out, so it was. Kev B is here. Kev B, we were just talking about you a couple of minutes ago. And I was saying to everyone what a wonderful job you did on the voltage standard for me. And I was also showing them some of the bits and pieces you gave me. So as I was saying, we got 3 boxes of Kev B, full to the neck of very interesting and useful components. So we were very grateful to Kev for these donations to the channel. A guide like these, the old Soviet resistors, they're wonderful. So they are. Quite a lot of very. Now I was looking at this tripler here, and I take it that this is out of a projection TV set with the 3 focus pots on it. I think so anyway. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's what it's for. Seems to look familiar. Do I have any tropical fish capacitors? I do. I do. I have a little box of them here. Here are the few that I have collected over the years. Frightful things, aren't they? I was thinking Grundig. The other line output, there's 2 other triplers, and to my mind, they look exactly Grundig. They have a very Grundig look to them. Which one was it? Mr. Dranfield, of course, went on straight off the bat. Not in that box. In another box. I'd say they're Grundig all day long. Isn't that right, Michael? And we were talking about these. Michael says, and some, I think Ray agrees, that these are for the ZX2000. Little adapter plates for the line output transformer. Unlikely that I'll get a ZX2000 in here anytime soon. Green for Grundig, yeah. Yeah, they're actually multiplying. Yeah, we'll need them. Fine, that's these fidelities. Digging around the place lately, I came across an old gem from my childhood. And of course, this is John's. It was his everyday multimeter in the shop for many, many years till the fire came and it got full of water. And this is a Simpson 260, which I would like to get going again, because there's a lot of sentimental value in this machine, obviously. And there she is. And I actually put the voltage reference on this before I brought it to Dalborn for Kev to look at for me. And it actually reads accurately. Now, the last time I had this out, I seem to remember it was reading way off. So I don't know, maybe it's dried out over the last couple of years or something, but we're going to give him a bit of a tidy up because he deserves to live. That was a very important part of my formative years, that little machine. Hinardi isn't a brand that I'll be familiar with here. Oh, Kevin Bay, while you're there, yes, thank you for reminding me. You have reminded me. Now to find it. I think it's down here. Shit. Now, problems as well, Kev, because the knob was tight to this and it's gone. But anyway, the knob's of no use either. Now, this isn't going to be simple with this camera, but we'll give you a look at it. Anyway, I need the knob now. I'll tell you why I need the knob as well, Kev. When the shaft broke the first time, I super glued it back together into the knob. And then it worked like that for another couple of years. So the knob and the shaft are now one piece. And of course, it broke again. I couldn't. It's a hex. In there's a hex, and I think it's a 1/4 inch hex, I think. And the knob, and it's a Fluke 110. Now, the only reason this is, I suppose this is of sentimental value as well. A friend of mine gave this to me when I was an apprentice mechanic. He was a fellow apprentice. And we actually swapped multimeters. He says, this multimeter is too good for me to be using. So you're into the old tellies and that, you can have it. So, and I gave him the one that I got, which was not so good. And I used it for years. It was the first proper multimeter I had, digital. And I thought all multimeters were as good as this. But when the knob broke off this, eventually, I went into Maplin's and I bought a Unity UT60A. And that's when I realised that all multimeters are not made the same. So I'd like to get him going again. Yoko tellies, I can't say I do. Right, lads, I'm going to go into the house for a minute, as I usually do around this time. So I hope you can entertain yourselves there for a moment, and I'll be back to you soon. And you know the crack? When you hear the cowbells, I'm coming back. Now we're back. Are we still flashing? Oh. Ah. Dennis says, Clive Sinclair was a bit daft. He had all that money and spent all of it in design and none in the research department. Had he done some, he'd have made some profit. He got rich by luck and timing. He probably did pump too much into the sea. I wonder, you could say the same today about Mark Zuckerberg and this metaverse nonsense. He seems, I don't use Facebook or any of that shit, but he does seem quite happy to just run the whole company into the ground to try and push this metaverse thing. Seeming right off, flicker on the screen there. I mean, sounds like you had a good weekend, Kev. I can assure you it's not pink gin. If I was after drinking a litre of pink gin, I think we'd all know about it. Looks like methylated spirits. Jesus, no. That's a bit strong now. The C5. Yeah, I'd love to have a go on one of them, though, I must say. Watery Ribena is exactly what it is, Jerry. 100%. They're after changing this live chat thing again. Finding it hard to find things. But here is something here, right? So now it gives me the choice to start a poll, which I was thinking of doing, or start a Q&A. Now, I don't know what that's going to bring. I think that's just the same as, I don't know. So we'll try this anyway for the crack. This is always good. I don't know what way this works. Does that cut out the live chat then? Because if it does, we won't have that either. There's a bug with it. Oh, that won't do. We'll have to do away with that, so that's not going to work. Can anyone see that question, actually? Because I can't see it here. Depends how you feel. Right, we're going to end that because it doesn't seem to be working for people. Alright, we'll get rid of that, so. And we'll just ask you to write down. They keep messing around. They're messing around with a lot of stuff on YouTube lately, and it's a pain in the arse. Every week you come on here and do something that's different, you know? You can't leave anything alone. It said to ask a question, so I did, but it's gone off. It asked you to ask a question. Ah, right, I don't know. Maybe we'll try this again. There are no... Let's try a poll. Polls are always good. Oh, here we go. Here is a question for you. There's a simple little goofer of a poll. Do you own a 405 line television? A morph. What you got? Jerry says, Big Clive, electronics old and new. Dave Tipton, Glasslinger, Buzz 1151, Banderson TV, and add. Michael Dranfield likes a Superbike Racer. Haven't heard of him. Buzz 1151, okay, except for when the puppet comes into play. Then no. No, I'm afraid of that puppet, I think. A 30-foot container, a 30-foot party cabin, and a 20-foot container. Maybe I should make a visit to you and do a video. Unique would be the word, alright. But obviously, you know, it comes across as a nice fella. Behind it all. Does anyone watch Microwave? So, well, let's say 27 people watching, and 70 people have responded, and only a third of those actually own 4059 televisions, which is strange. We'll end that poll, and you can see the results for yourselves. And we'll add another one. Let's see then how many people will answer this. Interesting times. I'm just turning on my pattern generator here because I realised it hasn't switched on in a couple of weeks. And it's not hard to give it a little run. Working away the finest, eh? Say Mr. Dranfield wouldn't say no to having one of these. Bro Madam was here. Hello, Bro Madam. Yeah, that'd be an interesting video. White Sapphire of all your television sets. See, Mr. Dranfield Dennis makes a good point. Get rid of some of the furniture. Ah, yeah. Right, that's that poll. So only 40% of respondents to that poll actually have a vintage television, which does make me wonder. We'll try the Q&A thing again, just for the crack. Just for the crack, we'll try the Q&A thing again, right? So this is where I think you can ask me questions. I think that's how it's supposed to work. I don't know. I suppose we have to try this and get a hang of it because they keep changing this every week. So. I don't know what way this works. Now I have the live stream on my phone as well, so I didn't get it from a confession box, Al. I got it from a radio show in England that was that last weekend. And it seems to be only a 100-volt bulb or something around that. Funny enough, it's not coming up here on my viewer. Do you remember your first electric shock as a kid? Yes, I do. Hold on, one at a time. The questions are coming in, right? I wonder if I went to say something. Well, you know what? Maybe I can't ask myself a question for a start. That'd make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, right. First question from Joe King. Do I remember my first electric shock as a kid? I do. I had a Pi T19D radio set, which was in dubious condition. Anyway, I was trying to get it working one day, and for whatever reason, for some reason there was HT on banana wander sockets, plugs, and it was holding them, and I switched it on at the same time, and I got a shock, and that was the first shock I got. I've had quite a few since. I got a lovely bang one day off a power supply panel out of a flat screen. I put it across my lap to check the electrolytics on it with the old Dufertron, and the main reservoir was still charged up. That gave me a right belt. I also got a really nasty bang one time off it was a cheap Pilot record player, and someone had decided to add a load of neon lights to the front of it to make it look like a disco. You want to see this fucking thing, right? They drilled about 20 holes in the front of it and added all these neon indicator lights that they must have got off machinery or whatever. But they had managed, I remember, had a wire mesh speaker grill in the front. One of the lights had obviously frayed through. The wires, one of the lights had frayed through, and it was a metal encasement. So the whole speaker grill was live, and I got a right fucking wallop off that. I'll never forget it. What was the radio you were listening to at the very start of the stream? The very start of the stream, I was listening to this, I think. I've got a nice sound setup here, I think. This is a NAD 7030 tuner amplifier. You know, nice old scale 2N3055s as the outputs. Nice and simple, nothing that can't be fixed. And I've got 4 speakers, 2 up the top and 2 under the bench. Sounds good. And it goes loud. From Adam asks me, where do you normally buy your capacitors and resistors? Resistors and capacitors, funny enough, if I need to buy them, which I don't really need to buy resistors, I've plenty of them in stock. Although I have bought a few boxes of these. These are half-watt resistors on AliExpress. They're about £2 a box. They come in a nice selection. I think I bought 5 boxes of them the last time. And the capacitors I also buy on AliExpress. And we were having this discussion last week with Michael Granfield at his place about, fake stuff from eBay or China or whatever. But I was saying to him, I've never had any trouble with any of the caps that I've bought. These, the low value high voltage ones for the valve stuff. And even the electrolytics are okay. So that's where I get most of them. Killtop Brackley asks, apart from radio, TV, and electronics, do you collect any other antiques, cars, furniture, etc.? Let's say that's an interesting one. I'm sort of interested in little funny bits and pieces. So what have I got? I do have a tractor. I have a vintage tractor here. I like old tools, so I sort of wouldn't say I actively collect old tools, but I have a collection of old tools. I've also got a miniature steam engine which my father gave me, which I'm trying to get going. It's a little Stewart S50. So yeah, I'm into oddbally stuff, but I really haven't got the space to be collecting any more stuff, so I tend not to. One thing I'm on the lookout for at the minute though was a nice oil lamp for the house, over the fireplace. But no, I think between TVs, radios, and electronics, that's enough to be collecting. But yeah, I do. They're tricky little things to have around the place too. Kev B, following on from what's the worst shock you can remember getting? Well, that record player was certainly one, but I got a shock one day off a stainless steel sink, which was not bonded to ground and was connected to an electric hot water boiler, which had some sort of an insulation issue, which put 230 volts onto the stainless steel sink. And I grabbed the stainless steel. It was in a garage, and it was for washing your hands, and it had the long paddle taps like you'd see in a surgery or whatever. And I grabbed one of them to open it because it was a bit stiff, and I got an unmerciful wallop. That was a really bad bang. I wouldn't fancy that one again. Funny enough, because I'm so well insulated in this wooden shed, I've often touched stuff here and not even know, which is strange. Anyone else got any questions for me? Now, funny enough, of course, all I'm saying now is questions. So we'll leave the questions there, and I'll swing back in for a second into the live chat. Yeah, capacitors are dangerous bloody things in their charge, Jerry. Reese was here. I got a belt the other day as well. Brushed past a MOSFET heatsink that was live. Ouchie. Worst shock I had was off a Ferguson VCR The tuner fault, poking around in there with one hand on the chassis. Oh no, that sounds sore, alright. Jay Biaosang, which I've probably pronounced wrong, and I apologise. I'll also get these spare parts from similar sources as myself. I nearly had a belt off a charged tube. Someone left it in a charged state. It was a good job. I always dagger the tube before picking them up. Yeah, and the bang off the tube won't do you any harm, but it's the damage you do after you get the bang 9 times out of 10, because you'll pull your hand out and tear yourself, or you'll drop the tube and it'll explode in your face, or implode in your face, I should say. Oh dear, that sounds like a right bang, alright. I'd say those 4 kilovolt over an insulation tester will be quite sore, alright. I'd say you did alright, Cracker. No, them fencers, they don't. Yeah, electricity is dangerous. It's a practical joke to charge up a cat. It is, yeah, but I wouldn't do it to anyone, to be fair. Let's go back to the questions. For a crack, see if anyone has asked me anything else. What's the most difficult restoration you have done? Well, I don't really do restorations, do I? I don't really do much of that these days. What's the most difficult one I've done, though? That's a good question. I think radio-wise, probably I have a Cossack radio here that had been left outside for years. It was riddled with woodworm and quite rotten. So I actually used a lot of fiberglass and body filler in that, and that turned out quite well. That was a labour of love. It really wasn't worth doing, but I actually must take that down and get it going again. I can see it from here. That was probably the most difficult one I had. I'm trying to think about television wise, and I can't think of the Wallvian bastards really. Apart from the handy ones, which doesn't make much sense, but name one thing you'd really like to add to your collection. I got the AR-88 from Goblin, by the way, Kev. Yes, I did. I did in the end. George Christophe threw it into the back of the van like it was a packet of crisps. Is it any good? Someone's been in there before. Whether that's any harm or not, I don't know. If it's any good or not, I'm not going to find out anytime soon. It's in the container on its side. And I'll be quite honest, it'll be a long time before I get around to doing anything with it. Because space will have to be made. It won't be a 5-minute job on that. But I am looking forward to having a go at it. I certainly am. Now, back to White Sapphire's question about one thing I would like to add to my collection if I could. But I don't know. I get to the stage now where I kind of feel like that unless something special comes along, or very cheap, those are two prerequisites these days. I would like a dual standard colour television. So I would. What flavour of dual standard colour television I would like? I'm probably not too fussy, to be quite honest. The Thor 2000 hasn't appealed to me because of what it is. The first solid state colour television, dual standard. There was a lot that takes a lot of boxes. When you were repairing, what proportion of metal repairs did you get? Not too many. Maybe 20%. They're always the fun ones, of course. The Warmer UK asks, do I prefer radios to TVs? It's radios for Warmer. I suppose in a way I prefer televisions. They both have pros and cons. So I like working on the old tellies. Televisions in some instances can be easier to work on than radios, which might sound a bit strange to anyone who hasn't worked on televisions before, but once you get the few basic things going on a television, the television will tell you what's wrong with it. So if there's something wrong with the height, to look on the frame stage, there's something wrong with the width, it's the line stage, the sound is obviously given. If there's snow on the screen, you have IF issues or RF issues or tuner problems or whatever. So the television will literally tell you what to fix. So I do like that about televisions. Obviously, I like my radios too, and radios don't take up as much space for the most part. They're lighter to move around and get on and off the bench. So I don't know. I'd find it hard to pick one over the other, but I think if you told me I could only have radios or only have televisions, I'd probably pick televisions. So, and looking back into actually this is quite cool because I have the live chat here on my phone and I have the questions here. So this actually will work quite well. Yes, Kevin got a whack off a tripler once. I never got a whack off a tripler that I took out of a set, funny enough. It could be a recovered charge. That's the bastard thing about capacitors. Recovered charge. You short cap out and that's alright. Put a multimeter on it and see what it does. It starts coming back. That's why you need to put a link across big capacitors and leave it there. A shorting link. Never trust someone who says something has been made safe. Oh yes, that's true. Kev, they look real. GC 2028. Yeah, there's a lovely one of those on YouTube, a video of a beautiful set. Reese M says, he's got a Marconi television giving him jip. What model of Marconi television is it? Roundy Mooney says there's nothing like feeling the soles of your feet tingle as you climb a 20 kilovolt pole on a wet and windy night. Rather you, Roundy. Maybe I'm not so sorry I didn't get that job in the ESP all them years ago after all. I see Andy is in the chat. How are you, Andy? Of course, we met Andy at the Goblin as well. We met Andy and we met Steve, to name a few. Tonight too. We also met George Christophe, of course, and we met Chris of All the Gear No Idea. who sadly, due to work commitments, hasn't got really enough time to be making YouTube videos at the minute. That's why he's gone quiet. We hope he gets going again in the near future. Sure, the ESB guys sit around drinking tea all day. Yeah. Too many in Fitzwilliams and not enough on the ground yet. I'm sure that's every walk of life here. Oh, Reese, there'd be no point in sending over a television like that to me. It'd end up in a heap. But you could offer it on the UK Vintage Radio forum. It does sound like a nice, interesting television, all right. I'd be concerned about what CRT is in it, though. Nobody sees them up halfway up a mountain in a forest and gale. No, they don't. They sit in their gaff complaining that they can't make a cup of tea or watch the Coronation Street. They never give a second's thought to the men who have to climb up them bloody mountains. Great fellas. I must say I have a lot of respect for them. I'm going to pull the plug at 10 o'clock, lads, just so you're aware. Go in, get something to eat, and go to bed. Up early in the morning. Dennis is learning Polish. And Kerry Schaefer is giving her a hand. Very good. Giving him a hand, I like that. Oh, sounds like Roundy has his hands full too. Yeah, oh, what a Roundy. Anyone asking you any more questions? They didn't. So we'll end the Q&A thing. So now we know how the Q&A thing works anyway. We can use it again at some stage in the future. I've seen them videos, alright. They're a bit scary, alright. Yeah, Reese, I've seen them videos too. I must actually try that someday. Did I pick up anything interesting from the Goblin? I did. Just to recap, this nice flashing light. I got plenty of tryout valves from my Listen radio, which we'll have a go at some stage in the future. 2 Eddie Stones, an AR-88, and a Marconi CR100. think that's enough. The field strength at 50 Hz is much too low to power a lamp like that. Maybe if you're on a big long wire off the top of the lamp. Phase testers will give false positives when used on public lighting in the vicinity of a transmission network. I take it that's due to capacitive coupling. Sounds interesting, alright. Right, lads, I'm going to pull the plug now. I can feel my eyes going already. Hopefully there'll be more content coming out soon on some of this stuff. I need to have a major rejig here. Around the amount of time being good to me, tomorrow we will send you an email. And I'd like to special thanks to Kevin B for all the parts and for looking at my voltage standard reference, and for also building it into a lovely new box, which I'm looking forward to showcasing here at some stage in the future. Thank everyone else for tuning in tonight and listening to me. Good man, Joe. I might get on to you tomorrow as well if I get a chance, but if I don't hold it against me. I'll get on to you during the week though. And that's going to be pretty much it. Thanks everyone for tuning in, as you always do. It's been a good night. Thanks Andy as well. Tell Steve was asking for him. We'll leave it at that for now. It's been an interesting evening, and hopefully we can all do it again sometime in the near future. Lovely stuff. Thanks very much, everyone. Are you going to fit the lamp to the eddy permanently or sell it as upcycled? You know, that's a wonderful idea. That is the best idea we've heard all night. Okay, thanks very much, everyone. Keep an eye on eBay for upcycled Eddystone 750. Send it to Kilworth. Yeah. That's right. Get. Alright, thanks lads. Take care. Best of luck with your electricity problems around you. We'll talk to you soon, everyone. Good luck. Bye-bye.